Ever feel like you're stuck in the same argument about big social issues, just going around in circles? Well, today, we're going to dig into exactly why that happens. It turns out our information is being deliberately polluted, and we're going to show you how to see right through the noise. I mean, have you ever just stopped and wondered why we seem so stuck? We debate things like poverty, discrimination, and crime over and over, but the problems just seem to stick around. It's like we're all on a treadmill, running as fast as we can, but going nowhere. So, what's really going on here? What's stopping us from actually making progress? Well, it turns out a huge part of the problem is this thing you could call social pollution. Think of it like a fog of misleading information that's just constantly pumped into the air. It's designed to cloud our judgment, to confuse us, and yeah, to steer our thinking in a very specific direction. Right, and this pollution isn't some random accident. Nope, it's being manufactured. There are people, groups, with very specific goals behind all this. So let's pull back the curtain and meet the two main players in this game. Okay, so on one side, you've got what are called availability entrepreneurs. Think of them as the cause-driven marketers. And on the other side, the outrage industry. Their entire business model is basically just making you angry or scared. Now, sometimes their methods look similar, but trust me, what drives them is totally different. All right, let's break down the availability entrepreneur first. This isn't just your uncle sharing a weird article on Facebook. No, these folks are strategic. They're marketing an idea. Their whole goal is to create something called an availability cascade. It's a fancy term for a simple concept. You repeat an idea over and over and over again until it just feels true. It goes viral, and boom, it serves their cause. It's all about making their idea the most available one in your head. And then there's the outrage industry. Oh, man. These guys are the ultimate opportunists. Any crisis, any breaking news story, anything that can be twisted to make you furious or terrified, that's just raw material for them. Worried about the economy? Hey, buy our gold. Mad about a recent crime? Perfect. Click here to donate. Their entire engine runs on one thing: your emotional reaction. So you might be wondering, how do they actually do it? How do they pull this off? Well, it's not random at all. They actually follow a surprisingly consistent playbook. Let's open it up and break down their 3 favorite tactics. The playbook itself is actually pretty simple, but don't let that fool you. It is incredibly effective. It all comes down to 3 things: abusing your emotions, abusing numbers, and abusing science. And here's the thing. Once you see this pattern, you are going to start seeing it absolutely everywhere. All right, first up, abusing emotions. Take a line like this one. When violent thugs are seconds away, the police are only minutes away. Just listen to that. Feel that little jolt? It's designed to completely bypass your logical brain and just slam you with fear. It creates this vivid, terrifying image in your head to make you feel something, anything, before you have a single second to actually think. Okay, next on the playbook, abusing numbers. So an activist might hit you with this stat. Guns are used for self-defense 2.5 million times a year in the US. Wow, right? 2.5 million. That is a huge number. It sounds so official, so authoritative, and it makes a really strong case. But here's the catch. What they don't mention is that other equally credible studies put that number at less than 100,000. So what happened here? They didn't lie, not exactly. They just picked the single biggest, most dramatic number they could possibly find to back up their argument and completely ignored everything else. It's a classic case of cherry picking. And the third tactic? Abusing science. Oh, this one is sneaky. It usually starts with a question like, did you know that science has proven that X is true? By framing it that way, they put you on the back foot. It makes you feel like if you disagree, you're questioning science itself. But in reality, that proven science could be totally misrepresented or sometimes just completely made up. Okay, so we've seen the playbook, right? Emotions, numbers, science. Now let's see how it all comes together in the real world. We're going to take a look at a really sensitive topic and deconstruct how the data can be twisted: crime statistics and race. So let's just start with the raw data. This comes straight from the Census Bureau and the FBI. In the US, Black Americans make up about 13.4% of the population, but in 2018 they accounted for almost 34% of arrests for aggravated assault. Now, on the surface, those are just the numbers. But the real story, the place where the manipulation happens, is in how those numbers get interpreted. And when you look at it visually, that disparity is pretty stark. The arrest rate is more than double their share of the population. Again, the numbers themselves aren't the issue, they're a fact. The problem is they don't tell you why. And that why is exactly where the polluters get to work. See, the reality is incredibly complex. There are so many potential factors that could contribute to that disparity. Things like aggressive policing in some communities, poverty rates, family structures, even age demographics. But an availability entrepreneur, they don't want complexity. They'll just pick the one single explanation that perfectly fits their agenda, and then they'll shout it from the rooftops as if it's the only reason, ignoring all that other messy, complicated stuff. And this tactic of grabbing one explanation and ignoring the rest, it happens all the time. Let's look at another really powerful example, the racial wealth gap. This is a perfect case study of how the exact same set of facts can be used to build two completely opposite arguments. Okay, check this out. In 2021, the median wealth for a white household in the US was about $250,000. For a black household, just over $27,000. That is a massive gap, almost 9 to 1. It's stark, it's undeniable, it's a fact. But again, the interpretation of that fact is everything. And this is where those availability entrepreneurs jump in. One with a more conservative view might point to these numbers and build a whole narrative around personal responsibility and choices. Meanwhile, one with a more liberal view could use the exact same data to argue that it's undeniable proof of systemic disadvantages. Do you see it? It's the same fact, but it's being used as a weapon to make one single explanation seem like the entire truth. So, okay, we're swimming in all of this social pollution. How on earth do you stay grounded? How do you think for yourself? Well, the good news is you can. The key is having a simple little toolkit you can use to analyze whatever information gets thrown at you. So here it is, your 4-step critical thinking toolkit. Step 1, check your emotions. Just pause and ask, is this piece of information designed to make me angry or afraid? Step 2, question the numbers. Is this the biggest, scariest number they could find? What's the context they're leaving out? Step 3, find the source. Ask yourself, who is telling me this, and what do they gain if I believe them? And finally, step 4, and this is maybe the most important, consider other factors. Always, always ask, what part of the story am I not being told? Look, this isn't about becoming a cynic who doesn't believe anything. Not at all. It's about being a smart, critical consumer of information. It's about us cleaning up our own little corner of the information world so we can finally start having better, more productive conversations about the stuff that actually matters. So I'll leave you with this question. What piece of information are you going to challenge today?